Hey, welcome in to the Exiles once again.
We have a new floor director, and she went, "Oh, I'm supposed to cue you."
I just saw my face up on the monitor, said, "Hell, I'm taking it."
Cue, yeah.
I said, "Did he count you down?" She goes, "Yeah."
Yeah. Golf
I love
clap.
live television.
Golf clap.
Love live television. Hey, welcome back to the show. Glad to have you with us. He's Bill Profita, and I'm Kevin Gallagher, and we got a couple of hours of some interesting discussion we're going to engage in over there. We're going to talk with one of the few places that's open as part of Baton Rouge's park system is Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo.
Yeah.
And I don't think Audubon Zoo is reopened yet.
Well, no, Audubon Zoo in New Orleans, between the zoo and the aquarium, they had to lay off, I think it was 48 people.
Yep.
And I do not think that they've reopened yet.
But Breck Baton Rouge Zoo is it's the only zoo experience in the state of Louisiana, I think, that is open right now following COVID-19. We're going to talk with Phil Frost. He is the director of the Breck Baton Rouge Zoo. Now, you might say, well, that's Baton Rouge. But, you know, Baton Rouge is a what? From the furthest reach of this show on cable, maybe a 90-minute drive.
Yeah, and we do get
and it's something to do on the weekends.
We get a lot of Acadiana visitors in Baton Rouge.
Certainly.
A lot of them got kids. A lot of them would like to take them to the zoo. Some of them would like to leave their kids there. We don't allow that.
Some of them belong there.
Yeah. But, you know, yeah, come on and see us in Baton Rouge.
Yep. So Phil Frost will be joining us later on this hour, and we just got a lot of stuff to talk about. Bill, I'm going to get serious for a couple minutes right up front. Did you hear any of the press conference in Atlanta? The Atlanta police chief and DA held a press conference on the shooting death of, I hope I get the name right, Rayshard Brooks.
I did not. And now this is an interim police chief because the person who was chief at the time of this has left the department.
Right. But now, first of all, I'd like to preface by saying I'd like to think that any police chief, permanent or interim, when he's having a press conference and we're talking about lives on the line and lives lost, is not going to traffic in falsehood. That said, and that presumed that nobody was lying during this press conference, some of the things I heard, and I listened to all of it, were pretty disturbing. I didn't know that the encounter with the police officers and Mr. Brooks had gone on for over a half an hour. Did you know that? That they'd been talking with him for over a half hour.
I saw some of the video of that, and they were having a very nice conversation with him.
Everything was very, very, you know, there was giggling, there was laughing, there was levity, and then at some point, Mr. Brooks was like asking for a break, you know, because what happened was he was in a Wendy's parking lot, asleep in his car.
In the drive-thru. He is blocking the drive-thru window.
Originally, I'm told he was, but at some point they decided we're going to take this guy in for DUI and public drunk, you know, whatever the charge. Now, according to the police chief, when the cuffs came out, they never said, we're placing you under arrest for blank. And I understand that's police procedure in a lot of cities. Is that when the cuffs are coming out, you inform the suspect that you are placing him under arrest and what is the charge. But when the cuffs came out, it was like a completely different person. And Mr. Brooks resisted arrest a lot. It didn't get violent, according to the police chief. It was just him trying to wrestle free of grips and things like that, and resist getting those cuffs put on and things like that. But he didn't grow combative, according to the police chief, until he managed to get one of the officers' tasers. He bolted away from the two officers.
And by the way, what the chief is missing is that he tried to get one of the officers' firearms, and because of that double-lock holster, could not.
But the scenario was this: he was running from the two officers, then spun to fire the taser, at which time the officer fired two shots, which both hit him in the back. You know, I guess it's the code of the Old West, but a lot of people go, shot him in the back. But here's what I found egregious and disturbing that I only found out yesterday during the press conference. 2 bullets in the man, down he goes. 2 minutes, 37 seconds go by before either officer radios for medical.
Yeah.
And, I mean, procedure's supposed to be immediately.
The other officer who was not firing and chasing should have been calling for medical the minute he saw that guy go down.
Now, the other thing was that allegedly, according to the police chief, the officer who fired the 2 deadly shots also kicked Mr. Brooks as he lay there. I'm not even going to get into that. And the other officer apparently at some point put his foot on Mr. Brooks' back as he lay there on the pavement. I don't know what that was about either. But if that's all true, it's very damning.
Well, here's the thing. You or I, in defending our home, cannot legally shoot someone who is running away. Okay?
Right.
We can't do it.
That's a violation of Castle Doctrine.
Yeah. There was a violation of use of force.
If they're running away, you're not under threat.
No police officer can fire at someone who is running away unless they see the person running away raising a weapon to shoot at somebody else.
Now, is a taser a deadly weapon?
Well, some people say yes, some people say no. So, again, there's a lot to this that needs to go into. I believe that there was a very, very bad error, a criminal error at shooting someone in the back. But the way this has been handled, I did see the press conference with the accused officer's attorney. And this guy is a former federal law enforcement officer. Mm-hmm. And he said, look, here's the deal. Guy was on probation. Any encounter with police, you go back until they have a hearing. He didn't want to go back to jail, which is why when they were talking, everything was fine. But when the cuffs came out, he knew that he was going back
to jail.
He violently resisted, which every video I've seen, he was throwing elbows and, he was
anything to keep those cuffs from being fastened behind his back.
Yes, he was violently resisting. And then he ran. He tried to disarm the officers from his handgun, did not succeed. Tried to disarm him with his taser, was running away. One officer pursued, another officer did not, and shots were fired. Are there some violations there? Probably. But at the very beginning, and I think this is all political, and I think we're going to see it again and again and again in the coming weeks, they politicized this. They should have said both officers are on leave pending an internal affair investigation and a review by the district attorney. That district attorney and that police department acted within 30 minutes of the next morning. There was no time for a critical review. And even the DA is in trouble with his own folks for this. They're yelling and screaming at him in the street. Why are they being allowed to turn themselves in? They're murderers.
Well, that's the immediate damage from what happened. When we come back, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what gamers call the splash damage.
Yeah.
The damage that comes out from the center. And what's the after effects of this? Chilling effect for police work here in America. We're going to talk about it when Exiles TV comes back.
State Treasurer John Schroeder, encouraging you to visit latreasury.com to search for your unclaimed property money. During this pandemic, we've returned money to businesses, local governments, and people across Louisiana.
New Orleans Habitat for Humanity found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Treasury.
Audubon Nature Institute has unclaimed property.
I found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Department of Treasury.
We still have over $800 million. This is your money. Claim it.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
And welcome back to Exiles TV. So glad to have you along with us this morning. We are talking about police use of force. We have had some god-awful cases in this country. And we're talking about the most recent nationwide case, the gentleman who was shot by an Atlanta police officer while he was fleeing. And this, of course, is going to probably end up being as big a public case as the George Floyd case. Before you continue, there's something I noticed as well that I find very, very bothersome. There is certainly a discussion that needs to be had, and there's certainly an investigation that needs to go forward anytime something like this happens. But I think you lose your point when you start to imbue your argument with things that are not in evidence. The head of the Georgia NAACP had a big national news conference saying that this man, Rashawn, what's his last name? Pardon?
Rashawn Brooks.
Rashawn Brooks, it's not the first time a black man was shot for sleeping. He wasn't sleeping. The cops were called because he was sleeping in his car in a drive-thru. He was shot while actively eluding police and resisting arrest. Now, that doesn't mean that the shooting was justified.
Yeah, I take your point. That man makes it sound to the uninitiated and the uneducated, and that's what the majority of us these days really don't know anything other than the cop shot a black man. He'd have you think that they walked up to him while he was snoozing in the car and pumped bullets into him.
Well, and the second point, again, the DA in Atlanta, he's got protesters in the street, and he waded out into them. They're screaming at him. They want him to go personally and arrest these people now and all this type of thing. And never once did he look at any of them and say, the same right that you have applies to them, which is the right under the Constitution to a presumption of innocence until you are found guilty at trial.
In a court of law.
Yeah, he never said that.
Also, there's this about the DA. Less than 2 weeks ago, the DA ruled that having a taser fired at you, that a taser was a potentially deadly weapon. Then, recently, in this case of Mr. Brooks, he says, no, that cop's life was never in any danger from that taser. So is it a potentially deadly weapon or is it not?
Well, either way, it's real nice to make the judgment after you've seen 8 different video angles. The cop has to make the judgment in the moment. Now, I am going to stand on this, and I hope my cop friends don't get upset. I hope my friends in the community who have a legitimate complaint don't get upset. I don't think a police officer should ever fire at someone fleeing unless he's certain that person is going to fire at someone else that's in front of them. I think it's bad procedure, and I think you have fatal outcomes more often than not. So I do think that this cop needs to answer for that. The rest of this stuff is all political hype.
Now, the direct damage to this, there's, of course, the life of Mr. Brooks. He's gone. And people say, well, he had a criminal record a mile long. That doesn't mean it's okay that he's dead.
Yeah.
In any case, I don't care, if you're a murderer, it's not okay that you're dead if you didn't need to be. So I'm not going to judge the cops. I wasn't there. I wasn't undergoing their stimuli. But the direct damage is the death of Mr. Brooks. The direct damage now is the careers of 2 cops. One could be sentenced, if he's found guilty, that charge in the state of Georgia could carry a potential death sentence. So there's another life. Now, as I mentioned going into the break, splash damage, the unintended consequences, the things that hit from the center and spill outward. In Atlanta right now, they're having 2 problems. One, they've had masses of officers just resign or take early retirement. They're having huge amounts of officers that aren't answering the radio calls. And these guys are still on the job, but they're basically saying, you want to find out what it's like with no police? You're about to find out what it's like with no police.
And a huge amount calling in sick.
Yep, there's a lot of blue flu, and that's not just in Atlanta. It's also going on in Miami. It's going on in Minneapolis. It's going on in almost every major city where you're seeing these demonstrations going on. Cops are saying, screw it. It's not worth it. I put my life on the line, and all I get is derision and lousy pay.
Well, and, you know, in most jurisdictions, you can't do a thing about cops calling in sick if they've got the time coming to them, if they've got accrued sick days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there needs to be a balance of both power, responsibility, and rhetoric if we are going to get through these things. There needs to be a balance. And, you know, the thing is, I'll bet you this guy is sitting in eternity right now going, you know, I really probably shouldn't have thrown elbows and ran. Now, George Floyd, he can't say that from his perch in the Almighty's kingdom. He can't say, because he didn't do anything wrong except pass a 20 that was fake, and he might not have even known it was fake.
But if you've seen all the video of George Floyd, he did a fair amount of resisting arrest, but still, he was immobilized.
Yeah.
He was rendered neutral. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was no longer a threat to anybody, and yet he still died. I don't think anybody disagrees that something wrong happened with the case of George Floyd. This one, I think, is debatable, and it just surprised me to see the police chief and the DA just come out so strongly, so quickly, with an indictment of these men, and it was all their fault, and there was no mitigating circumstance. And it's sad. Is that what we're going to do with our police? Is we're going to throw them out, you know, to dry, to make a minority of people, and I probably shouldn't use that word, a small number of people happy?
Well, I think that all of us need to make some hard decisions. If you want to have a no pursuit policy, then stand up, puff your chest out, get the policy passed, and we're all going to live with that. Mm-hmm. If you want a no use of force or a no enforcement of these sorts of crimes, do the same thing. But it's real convenient if you're a mayor or a DA or a leader of a movement to be able to pick your spots without even knowing the totality of the circumstances at that point and say those cops were wrong. They don't get that luxury.
How many months did it take to review all the video of the Alton Sterling case?
Took a long time.
That's what I would have expected in Atlanta, or at least half that long. We got it in a matter of a couple of days. And I don't want to think that anybody got up and told America lies yesterday, but I wonder, is the truth still being represented here?
Well, are there lies, or are they shading the truth? Are they leaving things out? And that's a very, very dangerous game, because when you get caught at that, you lose all your credibility.
It's out the door.
This is going to end up in a courtroom. The judge and the jury are going to sit there and they're going to say, well, what about this? What about this? What about that? You know, I'm not so sure that they didn't violate the rights of the accused, meaning the two officers, at the very beginning of all this. They made an awful lot of prejudicial statements. And I really want to know why the police chief in Atlanta basically resigned before this ever hit the news cycle.
By the way, you know, this is already national news, but still, if I'm the defense attorney on this case, I want to change the venue. I don't want to charge this case in Atlanta. I don't want to try it in Atlanta.
And they're not going to get one.
Well, it's national news. Is it irrelevant, you know, the venue at this point? Because it's all over. But I worry that we're knee-jerking. We seem to be I mean, look at Quaker Oats. Quaker Oats, knee-jerking. I didn't hear anybody ask them to do it, but away goes Aunt Jemima. Away goes Uncle Ben's. You know.
And by the way, the real Aunt Jemima, whose name was Nancy Green, did you know this? That they offered her, and this was at the turn of the century, a lifetime high-paying contract. They made that woman the first African-American female millionaire in this nation. And she went on to become a philanthropist, an entrepreneur, a business developer. And by the way, she was born into slavery. She was born in 1837. And the family she worked for were well-to-do, and the man of the house was an attorney, and he carried her to this audition, and he said, she is very intelligent, she is a wonderful cook, she's a wonderful person, and they signed her to a lifetime contract, which she loved, by the way.
She was also America's first African-American product spokesperson. She was the first African-American face of a nationally sold product, and now we're erasing that from our history because some people find it offensive. I don't know. There's a lot of things to talk about here, and some of it I just think is not necessary.
Well,
but there's a lot of nitpicking going on. We're going to talk about that. We have to take another break. The clock has run out on us.
Okay, let's take a break, shall
We're
we?
going to sell some more stuff and be right back with you with Exiles TV.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here. Some big changes are coming to the Pelican and Cox Cable. July 15th, our numbers are changing. We're easier to find and we're in high def. New Orleans, Gramercy, Lutcher, Acadiana, Patterson, Baton Rouge, new numbers coming and a brand new signal. It all happens July 15th on Cox Cable. Do your buddy Clarence a favor, will you? Get all the details by checking your local guide.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
We're back, Exiles TV. Once again, Bill over there, Kevin over here. We're talking about weighty matters.
Well, before we get back to the weighty matters,
well, let's have some fun instead.
KSLA in Shreveport.
Hey, I know that station.
Reports Homer has hired their first African-American female firefighter.
Nice.
Well, you know what that really means? Is Homer has finally discovered fire.
That's mean.
It's true.
Now, is there any...
We're not carried there.
My brain, and I'm twisted, I'm sorry, but my brain was going to... Oh, so they decided they wanted somebody in the firehouse that could actually cook a meal.
Oh, no. All firefighters can cook.
I'm sorry, that was sexist.
But, and by the way, this is a very nice lady.
And not all firefighters can cook, let me tell you.
Her name is
I know some.
Erica Cornelius.
Good for her.
So...
Here's the thing about firefighting. Sometimes you got to be able, and I'm assuming she's probably a substantial woman, because sometimes
Skinny
when you're
as a rail.
It doesn't matter how thin you are, it's how strong you are.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you've got to literally heft a human being and carry them out of a building. Sometimes it's one of your own guys.
You know what they make you heft? Is they make you heft the hose reel. That weighs more than you do.
Hey, I saw Backdraft.
Mm-hmm.
Run, damn you! Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite fireman movies.
By the way, only 4% of firefighters in the country are females.
Only 4%?
4%.
Well, it's we talk about there's no difference between the genders, but there are certain realities about gender. It's like, for the most part, there are things that a man, especially a man in good shape, is going to be able to do that a woman in similarly good shape might not be able to do, just because she doesn't have the advantage of the mass.
Well, and I also think that what you're getting is, for a great many years, starting in the 70s, most EMS paramedic services were run by the fire department.
Mm-hmm.
And now you are getting where it's a separate division like it is here.
Right.
It's that way in New Orleans. It's that way in a lot of cities. And I think a lot of your females, although they probably might have gone through the fire academy, choose to then work for EMS, and they're not counted in that number.
They'll end up becoming EMTs instead of firefighters per se.
Yeah.
But still, the 4%, that could be significant, or it could be, maybe not that many women want to be firefighters. But I applaud this woman. She went through the academy, she passed, and she's going to be saving lives.
I applaud this woman, and hopefully someone within the sound of our voice and the sound of our faces will offer her a job as a firefighter in another area so she doesn't have to live in Homer. Is there anything in Homer that can...
wait a minute, are you talking Homer or Homa?
Homer.
Homer is in which parish? It's
Claiborne.
Claiborne Parish, so that's up in the north. Yeah.
Is there anything in Homer that can burn? Isn't everything there built of, like, stalactites and rocks and mud?
No, they're up to log cabins now in Homer.
Are they? You sure?
Yeah. They're hoping someday to have real electrical wired into their houses.
Then they're going to need a fire department.
Now, we're making jokes, but, Claiborne Parish is one of those areas where there are parts of the parish where there is no broadband internet. There are a number of parishes, especially in northern Louisiana, where broadband internet is, if you don't have a modem and can dial up, you don't do internet.
And yet, whomever they send to our legislature, who arrives they
get an equal say
in the buckboard.
Their vote is as much as important as the vote from right here in Baton Rouge.
Yeah,
the state's capital.
Yeah, there's that.
That's called a democracy, Bill.
That's called foolishness. You should be able to draw your districts better than that.
Have you ever attended a redistricting session?
Yeah.
At the state legislature? You want to talk about not wanting to see how the sausage is made.
It's kind of like naked.
Lord.
It's kind of like naked fat guy Jello wrestling.
The last redistricting session that we did, I was covering the state capitol for the Louisiana Radio Network, and Jim Engster, my boss, great guy. But I had never seen such a contentious situation in my life. And people being openly disrespectful to each other. I heard a state senator from Northeast Louisiana refer to a state senator, an African-American state senator from Northwest Louisiana, in the committee room as Missy.
Missy.
Missy. Now, could there be anything more dismissive than that?
How about honey?
Missy?
How about honey?
Does the governor approve your bill, Missy? Because he does mine.
But I like the arguments. Like
Toots would be another one.
Yeah, well,
Toots.
Dodie Dodie Horton from Houghton.
Dodie Horton from Houghton. She's a nice lady. We've had her on the radio.
Yeah, this ridiculous daylight saving time bill that took up committee time.
I like it.
But it's ridiculous because
I want Congress to get off their ass so we can have it now.
Well, then talk to Congress about it. But here's the whole thing. Their arguments are always great when they're from these small towns. Well, we got people, this is her argument. We got people with older relatives in nursing homes, and they can't drive in the dark when they go to visit, and they don't like having to cut their visit short. What?
It's a reason.
It's not a reason.
Sure it is.
It's Cousin Marion and banjo picking. It ain't a reason.
You have the luxury of still being able to see well in the dark, but unfortunately a lot of people that have reached a certain age start to lose their ability to see well in the dark. And I know people that can see next to nothing at dusk.
Start your visit to the nursing home earlier.
That's why they have dinner at 4:30 in Florida.
The reasons these people, I mean, has any terrific, great legislation that has been transformational for the state of Louisiana ever come out of the town of Homer?
I can't answer that question. I honestly don't know.
That's right.
I just, the only way that you can have a fair legislature is if everybody gets the same vote and the same right to bring forth a bill. And I mean, if the bill just flat out sucks, they can always defer it in committee and be done with it.
But again, if you're halfway smart and you want to make sure that you inject at least a little intelligence into your legislative process, first of all, you say, okay, why would anybody live there?
Some people like country life, man.
Again, Cousin Marion banjo picking. We got a pot of collards on the stove.
Now, look, I know people that are very metropolitan people. They work in the Dallas area, but they're willing to drive 90 minutes when they get done with work because give me that countryside of life.
But they're living on giant ranches.
Well, farms, yeah.
Yeah. They got a wine cellar with 1,000 bottles, okay? Mm-hmm. These people are lucky if they can figure out how to tear the toilet paper square. Okay? I don't want them making laws. So what you do, if you're smart, is every district, Senate and House, is some variation on a square or rectangle. And you draw them so that you have an equal mix of educational, financial wherewithal, and race, and make it fair for everybody. So you would have to have Baton Rouge districts, or New Orleans districts, or Houma districts, or Lake Charles districts, or Alexandria districts that extend to where you bring in some of the cousin marriers. That way, they are somewhat represented, but that way, we don't have to hear their ideas. You see what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
Does that make sense to you?
No. No.
No?
No.
No?
Because you are going to find people that live in the sticks that are brilliant.
Well, those are the ones that should run.
I'm going to, well, and one of them has. He's been in the legislature for a long, long time, and I believe he just made the trip from after years and years in the House. He's moved over, and he's going to start his term limits over in the Senate.
And who's that?
Jim Fannin. The man is brilliant with numbers. And he's been a representative up there forever. But, you know, I mean, Jim Fannin, you talk to Jim Fannin, and he sounds like an extra character from Green Acres.
Well, that's all an act, so he can appear folksy to the cousin marriers.
Francis Thompson literally sounds like Mr. Haney from Green Acres when you talk to him, but the man is diabolically clever.
That's all an act. It's not like BB, 60. 60 was that stupid. He really was.
But, this is what I'm looking forward to in the legislature as the years go on and term limits takes more of an effect. I want to see a day where there's absolutely no one in the legislature with a nickname in quotes.
That'll never happen.
I want that to be a thing. I don't want to see any more James, Jimmy. You know, even that. It's like, okay, we understand your name is James and people are going to call you Jimmy. Do you have to put that in quotes?
My favorite was E.L. Poogie Moiti.
Pookie Moiti. I liked BB 60 Rayburn.
You know why he was called 60, by the way? That was as high as he could count if he had his wife and his kids in the room.
Yipes.
Did you ever talk to that man?
No, I never had cause to speak to Mr. Rayburn.
Here, let me show you how it works. Ask a question.
There are other people serving in the legislature, again, that are from the sticks. And they're very learned people, very smart people.
Name 5.
Well, I can't. That are currently in there.
Could we have a little banjo track behind Kevin?
Oh, bang, 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 bang.
Sorry, you have a state.
I have to admit that since this latest group of fresh talent has come in, I'm pretty ignorant of the entire lineup in the state legislature.
Right. Here's the whole deal. You have a state that has serious financial problems and will continue to have serious financial problems, serious educational problems, which are intertwined, serious economic development problems. We can't afford to have stupid bills put together to satisfy an electorate in a little town that is never, ever going to be able to contribute to our economic progress. We just can't afford that. I'll never forget what Dan Claytor was talking about the Film Commission when he was still in the Senate and why the tax break was bringing things in. He was talking about all the revenue that was made by various sources, and he talked about LSU actually got some revenue because they would use some of their property for sets and they would pay for it. And somebody from one of these places, well, I ain't got no LSU near me, so why should I care? That's what you get with this crap.
Well, that's what you get in any legislature, though. Isn't the mission to bring home the bacon to your constituents in your district?
Not supposed to be.
But that's what it becomes. That's what they send you there to do. Get us a new park. Get us an off ramp. Get us a
or get us a statue of Uncle Bubba.
I don't want to hear any more about statues, man. I think,
but they do
we
it.
ought to just declare statues a thing of the past. We don't do statues anymore, man.
Yeah.
The best you're going to get's a plaque.
Yeah, we want a new library named after LJ70 Bug Tussle. But sir, nobody in your district can read. You know,
that don't matter.
Stupid crap.
All right, time for another commercial break. We're going to take care of that, and we'll be back. Just moments. Exiles TV.
That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Welcome back to Exiles TV.
I like our new floor director.
Yeah.
Marty never giggled.
No.
Our new floor director giggles. I like that.
She's also a lot more amused by my musings than Marty is.
Yeah.
I noticed she laughed every time I talked about Cousin Mariers.
Marty's not listening to us, man.
Well, you know, Marty's got those voices that only he hears in his head. He can't listen to you and I and those voices at the same time. Mm-hmm. That could lead to major problems. He's got those voices. So, do you remember over the weekend, Baton Rouge Fire Department was responding to a brush fire in Spanish Town.
Oh, yeah.
And the firefighters found a body of, I believe it was a 31-year-old woman.
Yeah.
She's been identified as Courtney Lee. She was shot multiple times. And they have...
Is she a local woman?
I think so. But they have booked one Kim Powell, 53 years of age, yesterday with her murder.
When did Spanish Town Road become such a popular place to dump a body?
I don't know. I guess they got tired of making the trek all the way to River Road.
Isn't that like 4 or 5 in the last, say, 6 years or so that they found?
Well, there's that area where Spanish Town Road meets the interstate.
Mm-hmm. And goes over the interstate.
And heavy brush on either side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
some blighted properties, some abandoned properties, empty lots. But it's sad. So they made an arrest.
Yeah, they made an arrest. A fellow named Kim Powell. He is 53 years of age. 1 count of second-degree murder, and the investigation remains ongoing. What is interesting about that is BRPD is asking for anyone with any other information to call Crime Stoppers at 344-7867.
Well, if somebody can, they're probably now looking for, they're pretty sure they know who did it. They're looking for the why.
Yeah.
What was the motive?
Yeah, what was going on here?
Sometimes you can get people to talk about if they knew these two people and knew anything about the relationship that they had, you might be able to glean why.
Yeah.
Is it too much to ask for the why, or in some cases in America today, has that just become, well, there's no why, I just like doing stuff like that?
Well, you know what? I think if you want a successful prosecution, you better have the why. You better know the motive.
Yeah. Well, what do you do when you're trying to prosecute somebody that's just did it for a thrill?
Well, what's going to happen is someone or someones will likely come forward and say that she was a regular drug customer, or that she was a sex worker, or that she was marginally homeless and hung around in that area and interacted, and something went wrong in an interaction, and now she is dead. There's always something. You know, most people in our society, thank God, you know, don't go to a residential neighborhood, pull out a gun, and shoot somebody multiple times on the street.
Just for the hell of it.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of that, thankfully. I'm not so sure that we're not too far away from that in some of our neighborhoods all around this nation. But
well, the gentleman that's going to be retried for killing 4 guys in the Felicianas, he just seemed to do it just to do it, you know.
Well,
he thought he was deer hunting, collecting tags.
I am amazed that they found him competent to stand trial. Ryan Sharp.
Thank you, Sharp. I want to say Cross, but it's Sharp. The weird thing about the victims in those cases, they all generally look the same. They all answer to the same kind of a description. All a man over a certain age, gray hair, usually with a full beard, you know, salt and pepper, or starting downright white. I'd like to see what Ryan's dad or grandpa looked like.
Well,
and that might give you some insight. You know, it's like, are you killing Daddy over and over again? Is that what you're doing?
Well, I am absolutely amazed that he was found competent to stand trial.
You know, because he wasn't making a whole lot of sense.
No.
You know, he was talking about collecting deer tags from these guys. What?
Yeah.
But there, we do have cases, sadly, where it's just, I like to do stuff like that. Look, Sean Vincent Gillis, Derek Todd Lee. There wasn't any circumstance; it was just opportunity.
Well, and those were pure. Both of them were psychopathic serial killers.
Yeah.
No way around this. You know, and what was interesting about the Derek Todd Lee case is he probably got blamed for some of the killings that Sean Vincent Gillis did initially, and a third serial killer that has as yet not been identified that was working at the same time. But they could have had Derek Todd Lee in custody a lot earlier if it were not for the FBI profiler that convinced everybody.
It's always a white guy.
That there are no black serial killers, so it must be a white guy.
Yeah. Thank you, FBI. That was very efficacious. We appreciate you.
I guess it just shows how the world is changing. But, you know, and the one on Charlo Drive, and I think that was the second or third victim, Derek Todd Lee was seen in the parking lot of that area. And he had left something behind on a car in the parking lot.
Let's call it DNA evidence.
And somebody said, hey, there was this guy, and it was the FBI that said, it's not going to be a black guy, it's going to be a white guy. And so they never collected that. And that's a damn shame.
Was that where Murray Pace lived?
Yeah, I believe that was where Murray Pace lived.
That's trying times, and it's now coming up. It's not 20 years. It's been like 16 years since all that happened.
It's been very, very difficult.
But, our capital city and our capital region has been through a lot. Lafayette, a few years back, had a serial killer case where girls were turning up missing off the ULL campus. One girl, was when they caught that dude. There was a whole story to tell about the struggle that she put up and the fight she put up trying to save her life. So serial killers, as I said, it's troublesome to think that we got people that just want to kill you to feel what it feels like to take a life, and it could be anybody. That's why I've quit doing things in traffic. How many of y'all, when somebody does something rude in traffic, you let that finger fly? How often does that happen?
I don't let the finger fly. But I do know the word that goes through glass.
Yeah.
That they will understand it when you say it to them.
Well, there's a couple of them, but there's the one that, it's like you don't have to be a lip reader to read those lips.
Yeah.
But I've quit road raging like that on bad drivers because I think any one of these guys could be the one that's just going to pull out a gun and shoot me just for daring to criticize his driving or her driving. So I don't do it anymore. What I do these days is after you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, please. I'd rather be behind you than in front of you.
Well, Karen had, the other night, Karen, I was riding with Karen, and this couple did a Foster Campbell. They went to a closed lane that had cones all over it.
Just decided to use it anyway, huh?
And he's beating the side of his car with these cones because it's a closed lane. And then he cuts a hard right in front of Karen to turn the corner ahead of her and then go into a store parking lot. And Karen is like, well, I hope that made your life better. Did that improve your life? I said, we ought to pull into that store and take a look at what he did to the side of his car.
Was he alone in the
vehicle?
vehicle?
No, his female companion was with him.
I'm going to bet you $5 there was a harsh argument going on in that vehicle while that was going on.
She looked pretty sanguine. I got a real good look as they came by me. I was alerted by the cones going pop, 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 again. And I'm not talking about 2 cones. I am talking, this idiot drove 600 feet in a closed lane, and every one of those cones, what would that be? They put one about every 8 feet? Every one of those cones hit the left side of his car.
Yeah, a few dozen?
Oh, yeah. Bang, 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 bang.
Yep. Well, people are just nuts. One of the things that I have people do is, they're in the left-hand turning lane and then suddenly realized, oh, no, I need to make a right here.
Oh.
And rather than commit to that left turn and then go find a place to make a U-turn and undo the mistake that they've made, I just want everybody to just wait while they make a right turn from the left lane.
Mm-hmm.
I see this all the time driving into Capital City, the time.
If you'll remember, I talked to members of our delegation, I talked to DOTD about the bill that would allow Uncle Bill's slap police to go on patrol, and nobody wanted to do it.
No.
See, no paperwork, no tickets.
You just get
You see it, you pull them over, and when they're doing something stupid like that, you just kind of paintbrush them 2 or 3 times and say, don't do that anymore. No court, none of that. But did anybody want to do it? No. Because they're too nice.
Well, we're going into a phase here. I was talking earlier in the hour about, Aunt Jemima syrup and stuff like that. But we're going through a phase here where facts are completely being taken over by feelings.
Not relevant.
Nobody cares about facts anymore. It's all about the feels. And tell you what, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll talk about that. Are we becoming a nation of feelings?
Well, I've got something that we can interject into the conversation too. Okay. That's in the news today.
Nothing more than feelings. We'll be right back. Exiles TV.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Rouge Jr., and I am a general dentist at Rouge Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Cantea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Cantea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles TV is back. He's Bill, I'm Kevin. So the question I pose in the last couple minutes of this hour is, are we becoming a nation where feelings are more important than facts? Right now we've got two factions that are rioting in most every major city you could think of, Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Are they presenting any lists of really reasonable, thought-out demands? Or are they merely talking about how they feel about things? Now, I'm not saying their feelings are not legit. I'm just saying there comes a time when you've got to look at the facts and the realities of things.
Well, and here's a good example. Once again, the school board is going to discuss renaming Lee High School.
Wow.
Lee
Again?
Magnet High. Now,
again,
it had been called Robert E. Lee High School. I can understand why there are some people that may object to that.
He's a Confederate icon.
Yeah, but now it's called simply Lee High School. So it could be the lovely Vietnamese lady that does my tailoring that they're naming it after.
Mm-hmm.
Because, 50,000 Chinese can't be Wong.
I think they should name it Spike Lee High School.
Yeah, Spike Lee High School. But here's the deal. Why don't you do this? If you really want to do this, and you really want to have legitimate public input, the taxpayers support the schools, the buildings, the grounds, the administration, the teachers, based on property tax. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you take everybody in the district that actually pays property tax and leave out everybody who doesn't and have them vote on it? Then you don't have to debate it and do all the weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth. But that's what they really want, isn't it?
That's disenfranchisement, Bill.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
We fought a revolution over taxation without representation.
We're all supposed to
How is having representation without taxation any different?
We're all supposed to be equal, even if we don't contribute anything to society whatsoever.
Well, you know what? Grab a dictionary. You can't be equal if you don't contribute.
By the way, there's a movement afoot in Jennings. A lawmaker, a local politician in Jennings, would like to rename Jefferson Davis Parish and get rid of that name, Jefferson Davis, President of the Confederacy. The thing is, what they don't seem to understand is changing all those names is not going to change history at all. It's not going to change what happened.
But you know what? Do what's right. Put it to a vote, but have only those who actually pay for the facility allowed to vote.
We'll be back with Hour 2 of Exiles TV. Stay there, please.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi gang, Clarence Bugs here. Cox Cable is upgrading the signal from the Pelican, but to catch us, you're going to have to tune in now to a new number. Acadiana, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Gramercy, Lutcher. Check your guide for details.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you with us. Hour number 2 coming up in this hour. Phil Frost, who is the executive director of the Greater Baton Rouge Zoo, will be with us. One of the very few large zoos in the country that has actually reopened. People can go and enjoy the zoo. And he's going to tell us what that was like during the COVID lockdown with caring for all the animals, making sure that they could retain their staff. A lot of other zoos.
How do you get those masks on the giraffes?
You need a ladder.
Yeah, a big one.
Would you say, would you mind coming here? It's those lemurs. They're hard.
Now
they run all over the place.
I've heard that as far as the masks were concerned, they kind of left them optional for the gorillas because gorilla.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell him he has to wear a mask for you.
No, you lose an arm.
How do you get animals to social distance?
Well, a lot of them do that automatically. It's always funny with the big cats.
Mm-hmm.
And you go to various zoos, and you'll see some where the big cats like hanging together. The one gets up, the other one will walk on their flank and be right with them. Mm-hmm. They'll face each other. And you got some that's like, I'm sitting on this rock, you sit on that rock, you come near me, there's going to be a problem.
Now, but have you noticed that tends to be species?
Yeah.
I mean, lions are pack cats.
Mm-hmm.
Most cats, though, are solo predators, and they only kill for themselves and for their offspring. And yeah, it's like if we're not mating, you stay the hell away from me.
Mm-hmm. And we ain't mating, mister.
Sometimes it's even then. It's like, you may think we're mating, but we ain't mating. It ain't gonna happen.
I can do better than you.
But I like the zoo experience when you go and you just hit that perfect right spot of the day where you ain't going to see one damned animal in the entire zoo.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the middle of the afternoon, it's 93 degrees, and everybody is either hidden in the shade or inside. And you ain't, it's like that scene in Jurassic Park where Jeff Goldblum says, now there are eventually going to be some dinosaurs on the dinosaur tour, right? I've been to that zoo in Pensacola. It's like, where are all the animals, man?
So, are there any places in a zoo that you avoid that you don't go into?
If there is no glass between me and the primates, I will tend to avoid that because primates are fond of flinging their own waste.
Oh, yeah, they'll throw poop on you.
And if they don't like you, they'll let you know. They'll either turn around and spray it at you or they'll throw it at you. But monkeys especially, not so much the higher primates, but monkeys can be damned nasty.
See, I don't go into the insectarium. I don't like...
Just icky?
I don't like the sound. I don't like, why do I want to look at cockroaches? I don't do the insectarium.
I'm fascinated by anything that that frightens me on a primal level. Like I have arachnophobia. I am unnaturally and stupidly, I'm going to call it afraid of spiders. I don't like shriek like a woman and climb the rug, curtains or anything.
Yet.
But, if I see a spider, that's it. He must die.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. And I'm not comfortable until the spider is gone. But I'll go to the insectarium and stand there and look at the spiders, especially big ones like tarantulas or what do they have, those Australian, what do they call it, the huntsman spider?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a tarantula on steroids. This thing's the size of a dinner plate. And just fascinating.
No, I don't do that. So Karen went to this ribbon cutting for Cyport up in Shreveport, which if you go to Shreveport, you're going to want to see this. It's got great stuff for adults as well as kids.
Mm-hmm.
But the Audubon Society got together with Cyport and Caddo Lake, and they put together a wonderful bayou exhibit that's very large.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got everything from the oil wells to all the birds, and it's interactive.
They have the animals in the oil and flopping around.
Yeah, and spraying them with Dawn. Yeah. But they have live terrariums. They've got big old bullfrogs, and they got some snakes. And they got a copperhead, and they've got a cane snake. And of course, the cane snake looks exactly like a coral snake, only the colors don't match the right way. So you have to remember
the little matter of venom or no venom.
Yeah, so red touches black, he's okay, Jack. Red touches yellow, he's a dangerous fellow.
Right.
And during this grand opening, and everybody's dressed very nicely, and they have a ribbon coming and all that, one of the folks who deals with the animals there very quietly goes in and gets the cane snake and wraps it around his arm, and he's walking around. And it's like every few seconds you're and somebody jumps, man and woman.
Because it's snapping.
No, it was very docile, but you could tell it was a live snake.
Did he have the right snake though?
Oh, he had the right snake.
Okay,
yeah.
So he didn't oops, I got the coral snake by mistake.
No, he had the right snake. He is their handler. But I'm thinking, why do you do this without telling people? I'm going to bring this snake out, and if you want to pet it,
hey, look.
Yeah.
People are probably more than spiders, I think. Snakes. People are unnaturally afraid of snakes. And if the snake is not venomous, I'm like, leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Snakes in my yard, love to see them. You know what snakes in my yard means? That means fewer mice in my yard, fewer moles in my yard, fewer insects in my yard. It's like, welcome, Mr. Snake. I'm one of those people, do not kill the snake, leave the snake alone.
When Karen and I, when we lived in River Bend, the section we were in still had some ongoing construction, where they're clearing lots and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we built our house there. They had to clear our lot. And we had copperheads and coral snakes coming out the wazoo.
Mm-hmm.
I actually ran over a coral snake in the driveway. And I was like, I hope I just didn't kill a cane snake. And so I got out, and no, the colors matched. It was a coral snake.
Good enough for you, damn it.
But the neighbor used to have these nests of snakes right in the center of her backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And what do? You call animal control?
I bet you didn't have a lot of pests getting into her house.
No, but we had a lot of snakes. We had a lot of snakes.
Well, we're going to talk about snakes and spiders and all creatures great and small. Coming up, Phil Frost is the director of Baton Rouge Zoo, which is reopened after the COVID-19 lockdown. In Phase 2, we're going to discuss what that is and more coming up in minutes right here on Exiles TV.
Guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
We are your midday safe space on the cable
Yes,
dial.
everyone is safe here. Let's all have a big group TV hug.
Yep.
Not you. I don't want to hug
We're
you.
hugging you.
You know what we need?
Huh, what do we need?
We need more truth-telling here.
People don't like the truth. People do not like the truth. The truth seems to get people, angrier than anything else. You tell them the truth, and they don't respect you for it. They want to shoot the messenger.
I got to do my fun thing I do in restaurants last night. It's been so long.
Harassing the waitstaff?
Slightly. By the way, if you're in Baton Rouge or if you're coming to Baton Rouge, Struby's downtown is really terrific. They have got a terrific menu. But Ed, our waiter, was great.
Bill, if you give it away, they're never going to pay for it.
True. And I'll send you a rate card. But Ed, our waiter, was terrific. And he's a big, towering guy. And his manners are impeccable. And he's got a voice like yours. But he did the thing. He said, "Any questions?" And I said, "Yes. What's the half-life of uranium-235? And he looked. And I said, "You said any questions? I have more."
It's capital Montana.
Yeah, I love doing that. Yeah, I love doing it. Well, he got the joke. And he said, "Yeah, we do say that, don't we? Instead of any questions about the menu, we say any questions at all." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I enjoy doing that." And Karen is
my
like,
question when they're telling me the specials, it's usually, could you slow down and try that again, please?
Yeah, Karen loves doing
sometimes
this.
the specials, I think it's great that they can recite the specials, but sometimes it's a little bit too much by rote, and they're like firing through it. Wait, what kind of sauce was that on that? What?
Well, again,
you got to forgive me. I'm from Mississippi.
Well, in some of these restaurants, they've got like 18 specials. So what I like to do was, what was that second one? When they're done. And they have to kind of reset.
Have you ever told the guy, "No, we don't. We're going to order from the menu. You don't need to buy."
I do. I tell them.
I do. I like to catch them up front. And say, "Listen, we're going to order from the menu. You can save the specials, okay?"
Yeah,
no problem.
I don't want to do. Well, and again, if you read tell-all books by chefs, the special is usually something that has been left over that they couldn't move. So they throw a sauce on it, they give it another name, and they charge you $8 more for it. I mean, that is special. Isn't that special?
Well, there are exceptions. I've been some places where tonight we're doing prime rib. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
That's pretty special.
But they don't call it the special. They'll say, we're doing prime rib tonight. Or we're doing the cowboy ribeye tonight.
So I like, would you like to hear about the special? Nah.
No, I don't think so.
I'd like you to go away for another 5 minutes.
Well, that's the whole
Bring
thing.
me a martini and then go away for another 5-10 minutes.
And as good as this guy was, he got the fine dining rule. He understood the compact. I'm there to talk to the people at the table, not the people who work in the damn restaurant. I don't want to hear about your life and your times and everything that you've struggled with and how you want to be an actor or you hope one day to be a chef, because
Bill,
I really don't care.
What they really want to do is direct.
My poor wife does not like it when I do this, but we were in New York City where every waiter is an actor or an actress. And we're at Del Frisco's Double Eagle Steakhouse in New York, which is a magnificent restaurant. It is. You could shoot a movie in this place. And the waiter isn't, and he's just yakking. We're trying to eat our salads. You know, he's just yak. And he talks about how he's an actor. And I finally said, great. How about acting like a waiter and getting our food?
Just yesterday, I heard a guy talking on the radio, and he was an actor, and he said, Hollywood is a wonderful town. It's the kind of town where you can go out and see a movie and then go out for dinner after the movie, and your waiter is the guy who starred in the movie.
Yeah. But I will tell you that, you know, one of the nice things about Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Lafayette, Louisiana, with New Orleans still being kind of sort of shut down and people afraid to go there, we have got so much terrific dining in Baton Rouge and in Lafayette that you really, the only problem you have in these cities is choosing. I mean, I can think of, if you said, hey, let's go to dinner tonight, let's take the wives, and I'd have to run through about 20 places and I'd have a hard time making a decision.
But you know what's sad, Bill? When people in other parts of the country, and there are people who plan, they vacation culinary. Mm-hmm. Or is it culinary? Which do you prefer?
It could be either, or either.
There are people who, you know, they love fine food and they plan their vacations to enjoy the fine foods of blank. Mm-hmm. Now, when they're thinking about the fine foods of Louisiana, where do they plan their vacation? They go to New Orleans.
You know, Baton Rouge is getting in on that a little bit.
Oh yeah, Baton Rouge and Lafayette, very much. If you want fine dining, and especially if you want the Cajun cuisine or the Cajun inspired, you can get that by coming to Baton Rouge. You can get that by coming to Lafayette. You don't necessarily need to go to New Orleans and deal with what some people perceive as the negatives of spending time in New Orleans,
which is just spending time in New Orleans.
Well, New Orleans is a city where it's a cab. You got to take a cab everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, right now it is kind of a difficult experience in New Orleans, and God knows I've spent my time there, and I will again. But spending time in New Orleans is a difficulty right now. It really is.
Marianne and I will make trips to New Orleans, but we have the destination in mind. We want to eat at Mr. B's Bistro. So we drive down to New Orleans. We park, 4 blocks away, like by Jack's Brewery, and we walk to Mr. B's Bistro. Dinner's over. We get back in the car and we leave town.
That's one of Dickie Brennan's places.
Yes.
Have you been to Dickie Brennan's Steakhouse yet?
Yes.
I love that. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have a lot of great steakhouses in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. I don't know where they find these steaks that are the size of a Volkswagen, and they're as tender as a kitchen sponge. Mm-hmm. He has got some sort of a secret there.
You gotta treat the meat with respect.
Is that it?
I guess. I'm not sure.
I mean, do you look at...
I know. I'm pretty good with a steak myself.
Yeah.
I've been told by many people, when it comes time to make a steak, that I do well with, because my thing is sear it in a hot pan, sear the edges as well as each side, then pop it, finish it off in the oven.
So it could be reasonably said, when speaking of Kevin Gallagher, mm-hmm. that no one can beat your meat.
Well, just the one.
Back in a moment, maybe.
Hi, honey.
Aren't you supposed to say roll it here?
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
State Treasurer John Trotter, encouraging you to visit latreasury.com to search for your unclaimed property money. During this pandemic, we've returned money to businesses, local governments, and people across Louisiana.
New Orleans Habitat for Humanity found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Treasury.
Audubon Nature Institute has unclaimed property.
I found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Department of Treasury.
We still have over $800 million. This is your money. Claim it.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
We're back. Exiles TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. We're in hour two. Bill Profito over here. I'm Kevin Gallagher. And joining us now live in the center chair is our friend Phil Frost. Phil is the, is it executive director? What's it?
Close enough.
General manager?
Head monkey.
Poobah?
Head monkey. I love that.
I'll answer to them all.
Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo has reopened in phase 2 of the governor's reopening of the state, as is most of the Breck parks. But Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo really stands apart from all the other Breck properties because you guys are a fully functioning, full-blown zoo.
Yeah.
What's it been like? Let's start with the reopening, but then I also like to find out a little about behind the scenes during the shutdown.
Yeah, it was very interesting, as with all businesses here in Louisiana and around the country. But, you know, I think the great thing was that we had staff that stayed there. We didn't lose any staff. We didn't have to lay off any staff. And so everyone was there. Animals were cared for immaculately. I think the only problem was the animals missed the people. You know, you somehow think that they're just there, but I think they get a lot of enrichment from kids and parents walking past, and so they missed that. But on May 18th, we reopened for 3 days just for our members. We wanted to get a chance to see if all the things that we had put in place were going to work.
Yeah.
Our social distancing, our marking off 6 feet, one-way traffic, things like that. So on the 18th, we opened up. Had great turnouts, over 1,000 people most of the days.
That's good.
And then the following Thursday, we opened up to the general public, and we've been open ever since. Just to give you an idea, we've been doing a special because this was our 50th anniversary. The zoo's 50 years old. And so one of the specials is that on Wednesday afternoon, from noon until 4, it's the same price that it was when the zoo opened 50 years ago,
Oh my goodness.
which happened to be 50 cents.
Wow.
We had 4,000 people yesterday.
Wow.
So again, and the other Wednesdays we've had close to, I think, 1,400 and 1,900. So people are coming out, and I think they're really appreciative, and that's what we heard more than anything, is just how appreciative they are that we're there. It's a place they can bring their kids, their families. They were coming in family groups. You know, you could tell. I mean, we had people that had Zoo Crew T-shirts on. They'd made T-shirts to come to the zoo yesterday. I mean, it was hilarious. I loved it. People excited about coming. But again, we've been open since the 18th of May. We're doing some things different as we have to try to help everybody stay safe. You know, we're doing a lot of additional cleaning of playgrounds and things like that. Of course, our bathrooms, we clean those constantly throughout the day. But now we're doing a little more. We've got hand sanitizer stations throughout the zoo. We have guests walking one way, and we have very clear signs and arrows so that, you know, you're not coming in contact with people. You're always going with the crowd. That's been very helpful. We've had to close the aquarium because that's a lot of touching, a lot of glass, and so that area, it is still closed for right now, as is our going in contact with the goats in the contact corral.
Okay.
But the kids zoo is open. The train is closed. Again, that's an amusement ride. And amusement
a lot of touching
rides
there too.
Yeah, amusement rides can't happen during the second phase. So far, it's gone very well, and I think it's a testament to the planning that our staff did, but just the community being very receptive, understanding, appreciative. We've just had very, very few problems, and I think, again, that's just a real tribute to the community.
One of the things that a lot of people in this area were worried about was the Audubon Institute in New Orleans that operates the Audubon Zoo and the Aquarium of the Americas went into hard shutdown mode immediately and announced that they were laying off, 53 of their employees, like on the first day.
Yeah.
And we were like, God, I hope that doesn't come to Baton Rouge in this type of fashion.
Yeah.
And you made it without having to lay anybody off. What's the big difference?
Well, the big difference is BREC. We are part of BREC, and BREC is very trusted by the community, and BREC is funded by the community because we produce what we say we're going to do. And as a result, we were able to, we had to tighten our belts, believe me. We had to tighten our belts because we didn't have revenue coming in, and yet we still had to feed animals. We still had those expenses. But again, it was just a huge team effort within the BREC department with planning and engineering, finance, HR, communications, IT, everyone, the superintendent's office, all just meeting and working together saying, how can we keep this going? We don't want to lay off people because it's going to be so hard to get them back, as well as these are people. These are our community. You know, we want to keep people employed. We want to keep people active and doing what they can do to care for their families. And so we were very blessed to be in that position and not have to lay off people. And I think you get a lot of loyalty from that too, because a lot of people understand that the person down the street's not working, but I am.
I know it's not a public relations move, but there was great public relations that was associated with this. I have to ask you this. People don't ever think about this. And I know you know the number, or at least a close approximation.
Yeah.
What does it cost the Baton Rouge Zoo every day in animal feed?
Yeah, well, we have an animal food budget of about $250,000 a year. So you divide it out
You're at about $700 a day.
Yeah, not quite 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what it costs every day. And again, it varies from little dart frogs that eat fruit flies that are about this big to our tigers that are eating meat and everything in between. So it's.
I was going to ask about the specificity of diet.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have an exotic animal that only eats one or two things, how tough is it to procure food for them?
Well, it's really interesting because those things that are the really tough things to get, there are some businesses out there that said, look, we can make money doing this. Maybe we're the only one or two in the country.
So they breed fruit flies.
Yeah, they absolutely fruit flies. They
I know some restaurants.
Well, they do crickets. They do crickets. But again, a lot of the animals at the zoo, especially the birds and the primates, eat the same things that we eat. I mean, we're cutting up yams, we're cutting up boiled eggs, we're cutting up oranges, apples, bananas, nuts.
So you have to have a kitchen staff, basically.
We have a whole kitchen staff that in our commissary that does the diets. They start at 4 o'clock in the morning preparing the diets, and it's like a restaurant. It's stainless steel counters, it's measuring cups, it's menu sheets so they can fill out how many is. Then those foods go into the refrigerator and stay cool until the keepers come in and take them out to feed the animals. So we've got a crew that really, really does well. And again, they make sure that the diets are nutritional for the animals and try to match it as close as they could to the animals in the wild so that they stay very healthy.
Are there any of these species that it could be as simple as, just sacks of kibble, or they all have?
Yeah, there are some. There are some that do eat some types of dog foods as part of their diet just because of what dog food has in it or cat food. But for the most part, that's not a real balanced diet for a wild animal. And so we have to put things like, for instance, the little fruit flies. Fruit flies are great for dart frogs. We also dust them with calcium so that they get the calcium that they need for their bones. Yeah, there you go.
I want to ask a specific one because I was curious about this. I mentioned giraffes in our first hour. How do you get the masks on the giraffes?
Yeah.
But giraffes are high branch grazers. So what do you feed them?
Well, a number of things. First, they get a very high quality hay that we feed them. Okay. One of the other fun things working at the zoo, and I'll sit there and I'll hear my radio and I'll hear the landscape crew going, "We're cutting some browse. Does anybody need anything?" Well, they're out trimming trees, they're trimming branches, they're trimming leaves, bamboo, whatever. And of course, the staff knows the things that the animals would like to eat. It's just a little supplement. It's not their full diet, but it's a little, it's different, it's change. And so, sure enough, all of a sudden, somebody will come back and say, "Yeah, I can take it over here," and they'll be taking branches in, and the animals will be pulling the leaves off and eating them.
Nothing's going to the landfill.
No, it's recycling at its finest,
So were there any mating seasons or any births that happened at the zoo during this period?
Well, we've had a few hoofstock born. Now, I think the biggest thing that we had that was the most exciting for us actually occurred before we went into this, and that was our giraffe that was born, Burrow. And we had a great contest for people, and that was the name it came out with. And we have had more people come out to see the giraffe, and it's just been fantastic.
It's a great name.
It's my favorite zoo animal.
He is about 8 feet tall now.
Yeah.
Started out at 6. He's about 8 feet tall, so growing very quickly. But again, he's doing great. We have him out with his mom one day, and then Dad is out the next day because there's still a little competition there that you have to deal with that they would be dealing with in the wild and separating. So we still do that. And but they're getting along great. But yeah, we've had several of the hoofstock and things like that have been born, gazelles, and we've had some birds hatch, and also it doesn't stop. It just keeps moving on.
Are giraffes fairly self-sufficient from birth, or does one of the parents have to take a role?
Well, they nurse because they're a mammal, so the female has to nurse for several months. In fact, the burro still tries every once in a while, and sometimes she'll let him, and sometimes she gives him one of these and says, come on,
lay off,
grow up. So it's time to do something different.
I had a girlfriend used to do that.
But I'm not going there. But anyway, they do have to take care of them. But again, the same thing is the mother has to be very protective because again, the father would see the male giraffe as a threat. So she has to be very protective.
Now, what type of gazelles did we have that were born?
We've had Thompson gazelles, the little Tommies, which are actually in with the giraffes and also in one of our other exhibits also.
And in the wild, you find them in sub-Saharan Africa? Is that where they're from?
Yeah, you'd find them there. You'd find them in Kenya. You'd find them, Botswana, South Africa, Kenya, Tanzania.
The veldt.
In the more in the grasslands.
Well, they've got to have exercise room too.
Oh, they do, and so they get a lot of room to run around, and they need to have a lot of room. And of course, in Africa, that's fast food for the cheetah.
Oh, yeah.
That's their dinner, and so we have to make sure again, and that's how we have to deal with the diets, because if an animal in the wild is eating X amount of food, it's eating X amount of food because it is really under a lot of stress to stay alive and to run and to get away and all of that. And so we have to take that into account, that the animals that we care for are not under that same stress because they're not looking out over their shoulder for the lion or the cheetah. And so therefore we've got to match a diet that keeps them healthy. Otherwise they could become very overweight, they could become very lethargic and other things that wouldn't be good for their health.
Phil, I'm particularly glad we have you on because this program is seen in something like 20 parishes on 5 different cable systems. And that means people in Lafayette who may be looking for something to do for a day could come, enjoy a day at the zoo, maybe enjoy one of our fine restaurants, stay overnight, and then drive home the next day. Is there any outreach from the zoo itself and from Breck into these other markets to say, hey, we're open, they're not, come see us?
Yeah, we absolutely do. We get out in a lot of different markets, and one of the biggest areas that we go out into, of course, is within the schools. Now, the schools are not in right now, but we send our school information to over 1,800 teachers throughout the state, southern Mississippi, the very edge of Texas, because in many cases, we are their zoo. This is the zoo that they come to. They're in southern Mississippi, they come here. So again, it's a very exciting place to be. We've got a couple of big events that are coming up. Our race, our 5K race.
We're going to hold that. Take a break. We're going to talk about what's coming up in the future at Breck's Greater Baton Rouge Zoo. Phil Frost, the superintendent, is with us. A quick break, and then we're back on Exiles TV. Stick around.
Here we go.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. I'm Bill Profita. He's Kevin Gallagher. In the center, Phil Frost, longtime superintendent of Breck's Greater Baton Rouge Zoo, and they are open. You can bring the kids and see almost all of the zoo. Certain things with high touch points and that are considered amusement rides, like the train. You can't do that right now, but everything else is open. And Phil, before the break, we were talking about what's happening in the future. You've got some events.
We've got some events coming up, and I think the next big one that we have, and hopefully everything will continue as it's going here in the States, so we'll be able to do it, but on the 22nd of August, we'll be having our 15th annual Zoo Run. It's our 5K race, half-mile fun run, and this is a great event that we have that raises funds to help cheetah conservation and help save cheetahs in the wild. And so it's a great race. We've had, I think last year we had between 800 and 1,000 people out for it.
See, and I get that so because it's a run event and cheetahs like to run.
Yep, they're the fastest land mammal. Yeah. And so again, it's a great event. Of course, we're starting our plans for Brew at the Zoo. We may have to do some modifications, but again, we're still looking at that for the first Friday night in October. And of course, Boo at the Zoo coming up in October. So all of those things we're still doing.
That seems to get bigger every year.
It does. It does. And I think part of it is it's recognized as it's safe trick-or-treating for the kids. It's very family-oriented. It's very friendly. It's really for the younger ones. You know, we don't do the scary stuff.
Everybody loves it.
And they love
really
it.
do.
They do.
Moving up on the calendar a little bit, Brew at the Zoo, there's two. There's Brew at the Zoo, which is a beer festival, basically, and then there's Boo at the Zoo, which is safe trick-or-treating. That has become so big that sells. It's like Comic-Con in San Diego. It sells out in hours.
Yeah, we sell out. So it's a great event. You get to sample. I think last year we had between 150 and 200 different types of beers that you could sample. That was not a challenge, but that's how many you could sample if you chose to. But again, it was a great event, and
but it's an example
really loved
of
it.
You're thinking outside the box. I mean, who does a beer festival at the zoo?
Yeah.
But it's a great event. It's an awesome event.
Well, and it brings in a demographic that is not always coming to the zoo, because in many cases they haven't had children yet. They're younger. Some do, and we have all ages. I mean, we got people our age and older and younger and everything else. But again, a large portion of those are younger folks that maybe came to the zoo when they were a little kid, but maybe not have been back. And so again, it's helping us reach out. Our message of conservation, our message of this is a great place to live and raise a family, and these are the kinds of things you have to do, and they've really stepped up and enjoyed it.
Now, Phil, it's been a bit over a year. I want to say it was maybe, what month was it? Was it January, February? It's been a while, but I remember coming out and attending a press conference where the grand plans for the redesign of Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo were revealed. And it's ambitious. How is that coming along?
It is coming along great. We have spent the last about a year and a half since that working on our master plan. The master plan was completed and approved by the Breck Commission. Master plan was put together by the Torrey Design Consortium, which has done over 50 master plans of zoos around the country. Just great at that job. It's been a pleasure working with them. So the master plan was completed, and then Breck moved to the next stage, and the next stage was in the actual design of the things that would be going in the zoo and the phasing, as well as the things that would be going into Greenwood Park, which is where the zoo is located. And so that is all moved forward, and right now we're doing schematic designs. We will very, very soon be doing construction drawings, and we could actually have construction start as soon as this fall, October or so.
Now, as I understand it, there's not going to be any disruption in services to the public as this construction is going on. The zoo will continue to operate.
Yeah, there may be a path or two that you have to zig and zag, but we will continue to be open and we'll continue to operate, and there'll be things for folks to see just like there are today. But I think one of the biggest thing that I'm most excited about is for so long, people that came to the zoo came down Thomas Road, which if you're familiar with the Thomas Road, it's a very narrow road with deep ditches, and so it's it's a little unnerving because if you had a flat tire, so if you had a flat tire, there'd be no place to pull off.
Right.
And what we had is we were very separate from Greenwood Park. We were over here, and here's Greenwood Park. Well, now you will come to the zoo by coming through beautiful Greenwood Park. And it's merging the two together, so which is just going to be great. So we'll have a new entrance complex that will actually be looking right out into a new parking lot right into Greenwood Park, as opposed to coming down Thomas Road, the little narrow road. So you'll have that as one of the new things that will be occurring. We've got several new exhibits that are going to come on this first phase. One, a new giraffe facility that will include giraffe feeding, where you can bring the kids out, feed the giraffes. We have pygmy hippos. Our pygmy hippos are now going to be in an underwater viewing large aquarium so that you can see them swim.
They're very cute.
Oh,
too.
they're great. They're great. And so now people will be able to see them swim. And not only will they be in there, but the black and white colobus monkeys will also be in that exhibit with them. Hippos like the water, colobus like up high. They get along just fine, and so they coexist together. Exactly. We've got several large aviaries that are going to be put together for our Andean condors, our bald eagles, our lap-nape vultures, our king vultures, and so we've got some large displays like that are being done. Plus, we've got a lot of old infrastructure that we're going to be caring for, and that's part of what this process is. Some of the things the public will never see, but they'll see the benefit of having it because it will be better off display holding than we had from some of the exhibits that were built back. As I said, we're 50 years old right now.
I had read at one time that there was planned to have a zip line over the zoo. Is that still part of the plan?
We talked about that, but probably not.
There could be a bit of a problem with liability.
Yeah, there is.
For the children you really don't care for.
There are a few zoos that have zip lines, but most of the time those zip lines are not over exhibits. I have seen some
zip line over the crocodiles. Don't touch your harness.
Yeah, just be careful. You have to make sure you don't carry anything in your pocket you can drop to feed them, but not a zip line. But we look at having a carousel in the zoo. We're rerouting the train right now so that all of the train is inside the zoo itself, where right now it actually goes outside the fence and comes back in. So that'll be an expanded ride. Plus, many of these new exhibits that we're building, you're going to be able to view from the train. And so again, that will be a little different than we have right now. It's a very scenic ride, it's a very popular ride, but you don't see a lot of animals. Well, that's being changed with our master plan that we're working on.
So I understand how competitive it is for certain animals to get them at your zoological park. Are there any animals that you're angling for, anything on your wish list?
Well, one of the things is we do Africa, which will be the very, very next phase, is we're certainly starting to do all of our talk about gorillas. Having gorillas here. And so again, that's something that we have to start right now talking about and talking to the folks that actually determine where the gorillas can be and where they can go and what zoos can have them and all. And so we're certainly looking at that. But I think the great thing about what we have is for a town our size, we actually have a great zoo.
Yes.
But what we're going to be doing is going to be taking it just to a complete new level. With the way that the way it's been designed and the way that we're working on it, and we're going to be spending around $35 million here in the next several months with the zoo and Greenwood Community Park to improve it. Which is, when you think about it, that is a huge investment in North Baton Rouge, and that's a huge investment in an area that really needs some investment. So we're trying to take a key role in that to provide things that are regional in nature, but at the same time hopefully can benefit that area.
A lot of the comments that I've heard, the negative comments that I've heard about Rex Baton Rouge Zoo over the years kind of precede your time there, but there was a time when it was regarded as rinky-dink, run down, but there's really been a major change. I mean, when you go there now, the paint's fresh, everything. I mean, sure, some of the exhibits are older, but they're in the process of being replaced.
Right.
And I don't think rundown or rinky-dink describes the zoo at all.
No, we are a professionally operated zoo that the community can be extremely proud of. We don't have the animals that we have at our zoo just because we want them. We have them at our zoo because other zoos say it's okay for us to have them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of cooperation. That means they have faith in us. That means this zoo has faith in us to have this giraffe that belongs to them.
Peer review means a lot.
In another city. Absolutely. So, yeah, it's very easy. It's very easy. I mean, let's just look at our own homes. It's very easy to let things kind of get out of hand, you know, and you realize you haven't done what you need to do in the backyard. We really need to redo this. But it becomes very important for the zoo that we keep an eye on that, because it's the public see that. And the public may only come out once or twice a year. Well, you know, we might kind of get used to the, quote, smell in the kitchen. But when the company comes over, they go, oh my gosh, you had crawfish last night, or you had shrimp, or what was that? You know, and so we have to be very careful to try to keep the place looking good. And my hat's off to our staff, because they do a fantastic job. They get it. They understand customer service is important. They understand our guests and our animals are the reason that we're there, and they take care of both. And
I love the interactive stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the first guy that wants to pet the shark, even though they all feel the same. You know, but I know you've got the goats. And are there going to be any more, particularly where kids can interact face to face with the animals as you expand?
The first phase is the new giraffe exhibit, and that will have feeding of the giraffes. So they will actually be able to go up.
I'm in for that.
Be eyeball to eyeball with that giraffe, you know, 14, 15 feet up in the air, and hand it a nice piece of romaine lettuce and see that big giant tongue come out and
gooey and sticky.
Pull it in. So
I've had a giraffe wrap its tongue around my entire forearm. It's like, oh, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, we'll have hand sanitizer.
You're gonna need
but that's one of the first things. That'll be this very first phase. It'll be within the next couple of years. So yes, and we'll be doing more of that.
That's great.
We're going to take a brief pause, take care of a little bit more business. Phil Frost is the director of BREC's Baton Rouge Zoo. BREC is Baton Rouge's Parks and Recreation Department. More on how you can become a friend of the zoo and help support it. That's coming up next on Exiles TV.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here. Cox Cable is upgrading the signal from the Pelican, but to catch us, you're going to have to tune in now to a new number. Acadiana, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Gramercy, Lutcher. Check your guide for details.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Fruget Jr., and I am a general dentist at Fruget Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Buggs Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Our last segment, we're going to spend it with Phil Frost. He is superintendent of East Baton Rouge Parish, the BREC Zoo. And everybody out there does such a fabulous job. And it's so good to have you with us.
My pleasure.
Before we tell people how they can get involved, you know, Jungle Jack Hanna is retiring.
Yes.
What do you think we can get you in some cargo pants and a boonie hat and have you start making the rounds carrying exotic animals? What do you think?
You don't want to see these knees and these legs, I tell you. Yeah, Jack is a great guy. I've known him for many, many years, and he will be greatly missed. I saw him just about a year ago, and he will be greatly missed, but he has done so much for helping people understand the importance and the important role that zoos have in conservation.
Mm-hmm.
He's just been the absolute spokesperson of that, and with his own quirky, canny way of doing it, he's brought in a lot of new fans to zoos all over the country because of his TV shows, and have a lot of great respect for Jack.
Now, if folks want to be involved with the Greater Baton Rouge Zoo, and I would make the invitation for everybody in our area, not just if you live in East Baton Rouge Parish.
Yeah.
What do they need to do, Phil?
Well, the first thing they can do is just come and visit the zoo. And when you're at the zoo and you're visiting the zoo, we're open from 9:30 to 5 each day. When you come to the zoo, you're going to see a lot of interesting things going on. You're going to see there's opportunities to be members, to have a season pass so that you can come back anytime you want. You're going to see there's opportunities to support the conservation programs that we are involved in all over the world. You're going to see there's opportunities, to, if you're a business, to sponsor events, to be a part of a big event that brings in thousands of people from the community. And the community is this greater Baton Rouge region. Yes, it's not just East Baton Rouge Parish. We're thrilled that we have people from Gonzales and Prairieville, and people that come from St. Francisville, and people that come from Lafayette and Alexandria come to our zoo. So again, quite often we're reaching the people that you're trying to reach with your business. And so there's some real great opportunities there. But I think the first thing is just come out and visit us. You know, we've had a tough time. We've been closed. We had to close down for some of the prime time, some of the prime springtime. We had to discontinue having our Zippity Zoo Fest, which is a great festival. It was going to be our 50th birthday celebration. So we could really use folks just coming out like we had yesterday and different days. So come out and see the zoo and enjoy it. And I think once you get there, you'll see there's lots of ways that you can participate and be a part of this great facility that we're so proud to have here in Baton Rouge.
Well, and we are proud to have it, and proud to have you with us. We're gonna get you back.
Would love to.
We're gonna get you back with us again in the very near future. And don't forget, the events coming up are the Run.
The Run on August 22nd. And then the first Friday night of October will be Brew at the zoo. That's the one you have to be 21 to get in.
Yeah.
And then the final 2 weekends of October will be Boo at the zoo, and we don't check IDs on that one.
Bring the kiddies.
Bring the kiddies.
Absolutely.
Phil Frost, Superintendent of Breck's Greater Baton Rouge Zoo. Katie, Floor Director, I can't see the time we have left. Katie wants a cup of something. Oh, she's saying 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Thank you, Katie.
All right. Don't forget, you can see Clarence on Monday. We're back on Tuesday. And tomorrow, join us for our Morning Exiles podcast on Facebook Live, The Morning Exiles. We look forward to seeing and hearing you then. Until next we meet, be well, stay safe.
And God bless. Take care.